I've just realised I haven't got my microphone plugged in. 1 minute. Okay, so just sit yourself on your left and find a good cross-leg position. So sit yourself in cross legs, just have a little wriggle about so that you feel that you're sitting evenly on your seat bones. Grip around your knees and lift and open your chest. Draw your shoulders down away from your ears, and then just close your eyes for a moment or two. Just spend some time focusing on the breath. Filling the lungs from the bottom to the top. Filling each lung evenly. Emptying both lungs evenly. Visualize your body in 3 dimensions from the feeling of the body. So feel where your legs are, feel the skin of the toes, of the feet, of the shins, of the knees, of the thighs and the hips, and the torso, the front chest and the back chest, the shoulders and the arms, and the hands and the fingers, and the neck and the head. Just feel your place in 3 dimensions. And then observe the hind ear hearing, the hearing of behind us. So tune and focus your hearing behind you, activating the cognitive brain. And activate the fore ear hearing, the hearing in front of you, maintaining the hind ear hearing. And then activate the lower ear hearing down into the body, so that we activate our hearing through the body. So we hear, we audiolise the physical body. And then open your eyes. Just look forwards directly, and without moving your eyes, observe lower eye vision. Encompassing the body just as the lower ear hearing encompasses the body. The upper eye vision, incorporate the upper eye vision so that we activate our senses. And the outer eye vision. So that the cognitive brain and the conative brain become alert. The body feels consciously there, not just through geography, but through sensation. Just release your knees, bring your hands into Namaste. Keep your eyes active in the upper eye vision, the lower eye vision, and the outer eye vision. Keep the ears active in the behind you and in front of you, and in the lower ear. And then close your eyes, but maintain that active nature of the eyes. Fill the lungs and feel the lungs. Observe the feeling and the sound of the body. Visualizing and audiolizing. Maintaining softness in the jaw and in the tongue. Just spend a moment to seek to generate a genuine, heartfelt sense of gratitude. Bring in your chin down to meet your chest. Hold on to that feeling of abundance in the heart area. Hold on to that feeling as you release the backs of your hands down toward your knees, and then as you raise your head, allow your eyes to softly open. Grip around the fronts of your knees and lift and open the chest, maintaining that hind ear and fore ear and lower ear hearing and the full vision, the full scope of the vision. Take a good deep inhalation in through the nose, and then turn to the right, but as if you're observing the sensations of the body. Observe from the floor your balance. So if you notice that on one side you lean over, then if you lean over to one side, then one buttock gets heavier than the other. So use the contact with the lift to ascertain your levelness. Feeling from the skin inwards. Position of the feet and the shins and the thighs and the hips and the torso and the arms and the shoulders and the neck and the head. Using the out breath to turn a little more deeply. Working with ahimsa, observing where you need to be kind. Come back to the center, lift and open the chest, driving the spine upwards. Take a good, strong, deep inhalation in through the nose. And with the exhalation, turn to the left. Again, just being completely in contact with the sensations of the pose. And maybe this side feels totally different. So work from the senses. Pratyahara is the withdrawing of the senses. That doesn't mean that we withdraw from the world. It means that we draw our attention inward as we practice, to give us a holiday from the everyday. Come back to the center. Just come up off your lift. Just sit back on your heels for a moment. But we're not going to go into Adho Mukha Virasana. We're going to go up into dog down. Just notice how your back feels, how your spine feels, how your chest feels. Keeping your senses active, and then come up onto all fours, little fingers on the edge of the mat, stretch the thumbs towards each other, and then with bent knees initially, just bring yourself into Adho Mukha Virasana with that same sensitivity. Start to straighten your legs. Working with the same sensitivity. So let your head hang down. Allow this to be a moment of initiation into the pose. Feel the body open up and wake up. Let the breath be soft. Let the jaw be soft. Let the tongue be soft. Let your head hang down. Feel around the body for areas of dullness and address them. Listen to the sound of the breath. Listen to the feeling of the body. Observe the body in 3 dimensions through the feeling of the pose. Visualize in the pose, audiolise in the pose. Explore your connection with the pose. And find new areas to address. So long, slow, deep, deliberate breaths. Maintaining the lower ear hearing and the hind ear hearing and the fore ear hearing. The upper eye and the lower eye and the outer eye vision. Keeping your eyes open, but feeling the pose, visualizing the feeling of the pose. If I'm holding you too long, then you can rest in Adho Mukha Virasana. Otherwise, just stay and maintain if you can. Just a few moments longer. Step the feet forwards, come up into a standing position. And then have some blocks for your hands if you're going into half uttanasana, just to protect your back. Or if you're going into full uttanasana, you don't need the blocks. So turn your toes inwards, have your feet as wide apart as the mat. Lift and open the chest. Again, just be conscious of feeling the sensations within the body, feeling the breath. Raise your arms up in ardha. Soften your jaw and your tongue and your throat. If you're doing full uttanasana, hook the thumbs into the crease of the elbows, wrap your fingers around your elbows. If you're doing full uttanasana, stay in ardha. Everyone hinge at the hips. Keep the arms extending out if you're doing half uttanasana. Keep the elbows reaching out if you're doing full uttanasana. Keep the front body long, either pose. And then allow the body to either hang down or find the blocks for your hands. If you're using the blocks underneath your hands, activate the legs and project the chin and the chest forwards. If you're in full uttanasana, activate the legs. Maintain that lift of the front chest, but let the top of the body hang down. Just be in the pose with the sensations of the pose. Maintain the softness of the breath in order to lighten some of the more intense sensations. Push your out breath into areas of discomfort. So yesterday we were working with foot-mindedness, feeling the feet in contact with the floor, lifting out of the feet, lifting the shins, lifting the kneecaps, lifting the thighs away from each other, out of the feet. So again, you can maintain that sense of place through the feet, through the connection with your mat. Feeling the nerve endings in the feet, connecting with the mat. Lifting up and out of your feet. Okay, release your hands down to the floor if you're doing full uttanasana. Bring your hands into your hips, everyone, and then come up into tadasana, bending the knees on the way up if you need to. So just be in tadasana. Just spend a moment just bringing the body into alignment. So that's the body over the heels of the feet. Lift and open the chest. Breathe evenly and deeply. Listening to the sound of the breath. Turn the thighs inward so that the backs of the thighs, turn the fronts of the thighs inward so the backs of the thighs broaden outwards. And then draw the tailbone into that little gap that happens when you turn the legs. Stretch your arms forwards, interlock your fingers, turn the palms all the way out, and then raise your arms over your head, baddangulyasana. But don't disturb the legs. Feel that you listen and you see the body, even though your eyes are looking forwards. Breathe evenly, deeply. Listen to the sound of the breath. Feel that you're lifting out of your feet, up into the shins, into the kneecaps, into the thighs, into the hips. From the hips into the armpits, armpits into the arms, arms into the palms. Bring your arms down, swap the interlock of the fingers, turn the palms all the way out, and again raise your arms. Working from the feet upwards. If you lift your toes, it really helps you to activate your legs. So lift your little toes and your big toes, and all the toes in between. Breathe in evenly and deeply. Engaging the brain. Engaging particularly the back brain, the cognitive brain, the observer. And then release your arms down. Just come back into tadasana. Lift and open the chest, bring your arms out nice and wide, and then step apart for trikonasana. So we do trikonasana so regularly because it becomes familiar. And so through that familiarity, we either stop observing or we've got a frame of reference for our observation. So just at this first stage, feel how the feet connect to the floor. Do they both connect to the floor evenly? So chances are they probably don't. So address the connection with the floor. Perhaps the outside edge of the feet don't connect in the same way that the inner edge of the feet, maybe the inner heel connects really firmly, the outer heel is light. Turn your left toes in very slightly and then turn the whole of the right leg. Just feel that the heel of the right leg is in line with the instep of the back leg. Feel that the back foot, the left foot, connects to the ground with the outer edge of the foot as much as the big toe side, as much as the inner heel side. Lift the inner heel into the ankle bone of that back foot. So when we come over, try not to transfer all of your weight into that right leg. Keep the back leg firm. So come over, find the shin, but keep working from the hip down into the left heel so that your weight doesn't suddenly collapse into the right leg. Turn the chest to face the ceiling, look up or down, depending on how that helps you to focus. Downwards helps you to focus on the breath. Upward often allows you to focus on the body. Feel that you are correcting your alignment. Turning the front thigh, squeezing the front thigh forward, squeezing the front buttock bone forwards, hitting the back leg back, but maintain your connection with the feeling of the feet. So maybe you turn the right thigh too much and all of your weight goes all the way to the outside edge of the foot. So then you have to really activate the foot in order to address that. Visualize the body in 3 dimensions. Audiolise the body. Listen to the feeling of the body. Reach up, come back to the center, and then swap the feet around. So turn the right toes in, the left leg and foot all the way out, and then again feel that the left foot, the heel is in line with the instep of the back foot. Just feel it. Breathe evenly. Listen to the body. So that also means ahimsa. Listen to the body. Feel when you're overworking. Feel when you're underworking. Work with non-violence to yourself. Come over to the side, but keep that right leg deeply engaged in the pose. Turn the chest up. If you can look up, then do. Otherwise, look down. Keep the jaw and the tongue soft. Breathe evenly. Visualizing the body in 3 dimensions. Audializing the body. Listen to the body. Listen to the feeling. Activating the senses. Ensure that the breath remains smooth. If it becomes staggered, you're overworking. If you start to shake, you're overworking. Come up from the center, come back to the center, bring the feet parallel, and then step or jump the feet back together. Come back into tadasana. So just bring the breath back to a natural rhythm. Bring a block just onto the right side for ardha chandrasana, the half moon pose. Come back to your tadasana. So observe what you felt when I said ardha chandrasana. It's a balance. And so was there any kind of reaction to the name? Did it make you feel good because you're going to do a pose that you really enjoy? Or did it make you feel apprehensive because it's a pose that you find a challenge? Or maybe you can't even remember which pose it is, in which case maybe you were just confused. But just observe that reaction and let it go, whatever it was. So bring your arms out nice and wide in towards the chest, and then step or jump the feet apart again. Turn your left toes in, your right leg and foot all the way out again, and then come down into trikonasana. So this is the first stage. So again, just visualize, audiolise, observe. Bring the top hand onto the hip. Bend that front leg and then hop in. So you might just want to stay at normal trikonasana if you're avoiding weight loading on your leg. Otherwise, you're going to keep that back leg straight, lift that back leg up to the ceiling, audiolise and visualise the body turning the chest, turning the top shoulder back. If you can reach up, then do, but otherwise keep the hand on the hip. Just audiolise and visualise. Visualise the body in 3 dimensions. Breathe. Soften the jaw and the tongue. Turn in the chest. And then bend the leg, come back down into trikonasana. And then come back. Oh, lost my balance there. All the way up to the top. And then step or jump your feet back together. Put your block onto the other side so you can reach it, into the left side of the mat. And then come back into tadasana. Now just observe how you feel now. Did the last pose leave an emotional sense? Did you manage to balance so that it felt like you were really working well? Did you lose your balance? And then when you lost your balance, how did that make you feel? Did you feel as though you had failed because you lost your balance? You should never feel that. It's just what happens in that moment. So accept what happened on the last side, and then bring yourself back into the present moment, into the feeling of the pose. Bring your arms out nice and wide in towards your chest, and then step or jump your feet apart, turning your right toes in, your left leg and foot all the way out. Again, just being really cognizant of the alignment of the feet, extending out of the feet, feeling the feet in the floor, visualizing the body in 3 dimensions, and then coming over, finding trikonasana. So remember ahimsa. Are you right there, Abigail? Just breathing nice and softly. Good. Just feel your way into the pose, because we get easily distracted from the inside, get distracted by the outside, get distracted by our balance. Bring the top hand down onto the hip, bend that front leg, and then hop in. Bring the block onto the little toe side of the foot, about a foot away from the foot. Keep that lifted leg straight if you can, straighten the standing leg. Turn the chest, turn the shoulder. If you can reach up, then do. But keep your attention within the pose. Listening to the sound of the breath. Feeling the body in 3 dimensions. And then bend that front leg, come back down into trikonasana. Again, just feel your trikonasana. From the feet up into the legs, into the hips, into the chest. And then stretch up with the top hand, come back to the center, bring the feet parallel. And then step or jump the feet back together. And then lift and open the chest. Breathing evenly and deeply. Bring your feet hip width apart, turn your toes in. Raise your arms up, thumbs into the crease of the elbows, wrap your fingers around your elbows, and then just hang down. Just breathe in evenly and deeply, listening to the sound of the breath. Bring your hands down to the floor. Bend your knees if you need to, or keep them straight if you can. Walk your hands towards the end of the mat, and then bring yourself up into dog down. Hands shoulder width apart, feet hip width apart. Breathe in evenly and deeply. Keeping the cognitive brain active, activating the front brain, but the front brain doesn't really need activation, not usually, but the back brain definitely does. So we activate the back brain with the ears and the eyes, with the senses, with the feeling of the pose. And maybe you discover that through activating the back brain, the front brain becomes quieter. It becomes observant rather than unfocused. It becomes in line with the body. If I'm holding you too long in dog down, then just rest down. But if you can stay and maintain, then do. Okay, everyone come down onto your knees. Just sit back on your heels for a moment. And then just lift up out of the hips. Feel that the chest is almost rising out of the hips, like the sun rising over the horizon. Just observe the feet on the floor. Do you feel in line with your mat? If you don't, just adjust so that you do. And then come forward into Adho Mukha Virasana. Again, maintaining the lower ear hearing, the full scope of the vision. Releasing your head down to the floor. Use a block if you can't reach. Aim to maintain the connection between the seat bones and the heels. Just listen to the sound of the breath. Okay, and then just bring your hands underneath your shoulders and then sit yourself. Just sit yourself in cross legs. So with the hands connected to your knees, just lift and open the chest, drive your spine upwards. Draw your chin down to meet your chest. Jalandhara bandha. Raise Mula bandha by lifting the anal sphincter up towards the diaphragm region. And just spend some time observing the breath, inflating the lungs, inflating the limbs. Observe if you're gripping. Allow the body to become light with effort. Keep your eyes open, but keep the eyes fully alert. Keep the ears open. Keep them fully alert. So particularly in your arms, are you gripping with your arms? The connection between the hands and the palms is important, but Try and find a level of activity in the arms. It doesn't grip, but it helps to maintain the lift of the chest. Feel the body as this compact unit. Release Mula Bandha, release Jalandhara Bandha, and then raise your head upwards. Just gripping around your knees, just maintaining that connection with the senses, visualizing and audiolizing the body. Take a deep inhalation, and then with the exhalation, just turn to the right side. Just feel, is there any difference to the turn from the beginning of the session? Observe if there is grip and soften the grip so that you can turn all the more, using the out breath to turn. Come back to the center. Grip around the knees. Although I just said the word grip, didn't I? Hold the knees. Lift the chest and turn. Be conscious of grip in the arms, but also within the spine itself. Sometimes we misunderstand extension and we grip, and grip is the opposite of extension. So release grip, but keep extending upwards. Release grip and turn. Release grip around the spine, in the arms, in the chest, in the neck, in the legs, so that we become lighter. Come back to the center. Just come down onto your back for a moment, just in supta, baddhakonasna, and then we're going to go into setubandha. If you're not doing setubandha today, you could do viparita karani, but just come down onto your back to start off with, and just observe the straight line of the floor. Just feeling that the floor just realigns everything. So activate the senses within this pose. With supine poses, it's easy to just let go. And that's pleasant, but what happens to the attention of the senses? So find that unique position of effortless effort. Observe gentleness at the same time as extension. So what does it mean to extend with gentleness, extend without the grip? Keep your mind and your ears and your eyes in the body. So we use pratyahara to draw our attention inwards so that we focus, so that we concentrate. And so that perhaps through concentration, through action, we meditate. And perhaps through meditation, we reach a blissful state. But first has to come awareness. Just release the knees and then come up into setubandha. Pull your feet in towards the body. Use the brick. If you're not doing setubandha, do viparita karani, where the legs up in the air, holding onto the sides of the mat. Just come up onto the seat, lift the seat bones away from the floor. So you stretch the arms out in line with the shoulders, and then turn the palms of the hands down to the floor so that the triceps rotate around to the biceps. So you come right onto the top of the shoulders, and then place the block into your sacrum, staying right on the tops of the shoulders. Each, regardless of the pose that you're doing, hold on to the edges of the mat, trying to tear the mat apart, turning the triceps around to the biceps, the crease of the elbow reaching up to the ceiling and turning out to the sides of the room so that you broaden the diaphragm region. And then if your back feels okay with it, then you can straighten your legs, or just stay with bent knees. Just do one leg at a time. Just get a feel for how that feels. And then just come into the pose. So again, extension without the grip. Release the grip. And notice that you can extend a little more deeply. Keep in, visualizing, audiolizing, observing, breathing. Soft in the jaw and in the tongue. Maintain your attention in the sensations of the body. So this is how we find our energy. So for some reason I didn't sleep very well at all last night. I was still awake at 3:30, which is really annoying. I don't usually suffer that badly with sleep, but last night I just couldn't get to sleep. I think it's because the cat was lying in between my legs, so you just struggle to get to sleep. But now I feel like I've had a full night's sleep. I'm releasing my energy through extension, but without gripping, being conscious of the grip and then allowing it more into extension. Maintaining softness in the jaw and in the tongue. So this pose is good for the immune system. It's good for the liver and the kidneys. Really good for the digestive tract, the intestines, opening them up, reversing gravity a little. Feel that holding the pose holds the pose. But you don't hold the pose with a grip, you hold the pose with release and extension. Okay, bend your knees, just lift Just bring your feet just flat onto the floor, and then just lift the seat bones away from the floor, even if you have to come up onto your tiptoes in order to do it. Just move the block out of the way, adjust your shoulders on the way down, and then just draw yourself down onto the floor. Pull your knees in towards your chest. Just have a little gentle massage on your spine. Breathe in evenly, in through the nose and out through the nose. Just easing any tensions in the spine. And then just rock yourself over to your side and then come up into a seated position. Just get your blanket, fold it for your head. Just make sure that your equipment is just out of the way so that you can just completely release just for the last couple of minutes. We're going to run slightly over just by a minute or two. So I hope that's okay. Otherwise, it's 2 minutes to 9. So if you need to, then maybe just do a couple of moments in shavasana. So just be in a straight line and then allow the body to consciously release. Unhook the muscles of the arms. Unhook the muscles of the legs. Just surrender into the straight line of the floor. Release into the floor. As you remain, observe your energy rising to the top of the skin. Use your in-breath and your out-breath to distribute that feeling of lightness evenly down to the tips of the toes, to the tips of the fingers, to the top of the head. Basking in the glow of release and lightness. And then when you are ready to disturb yourself, just gently wriggle your toes, wriggle your fingers. Bring yourself back into this pose of shavasana. And then draw your knees in towards your chest. Just have a little rock from side to side, from top to bottom, just giving yourself just a gentle massage. And then gently roll yourself over onto your right side. And then stretch out your top leg, come back up into a seated position, just a final cross legs with your hands in Namaste, just a final spinal lift. Close your eyes, draw your breath in through your nose, down into your abdomen. Be conscious of the energy that you have released through your practice this morning, that good, positive, healthy flow of clean energy that the extensions, the forward bends, the twists, the inversions bring to the body and to the mind. And then draw your chin down to meet your chest. Spend a moment to seek to acknowledge the positive energy you feel on the inside, and then send some of that positive energy out into the world. Holding on to that feeling of positive energy, release the backs of your hands down towards your knees, palms facing upwards. And then as you raise your head, allow your eyes to softly open and the focus to softly come back. Thank you very much. Thank you. So hopefully you feel like you've given yourself a good old stretch and you've also released your energy. So thank you very much for joining me.